Hello, Sarah here, and I'm just about to review this rather wonderful looking Breville kettle sent kindly to me by AO.com to review. Now, I know what you're all thinking. You're looking at me and thinking that woman ought to be a supermodel. Now, I know, what can I say? So I would just like to apologise for le visage. I've been down the stables earlier and rather needed a shower. Stayed in there a bit long, so my eyes have gone a bit red. So if you can excuse, yeah, just excuse it. Anyhow, back to the actual star of the show. So here it is. I have yet to open it, apart from a very brief check to make sure it was all okay after it had been delivered. Delivery was next day, and it was. I was given tracking information, which was correct. I was given a 4-hour time slot, and this all worked to a point. I was following the tracking, and it seemed to stop. I wondered if there was an issue, and then it kept updating and saying that my delivery was expected essentially within the next hour, and it kept. I'd look at it again in sort of an hour's time, and it would have updated to say another hour, and I wondered if perhaps there'd been an issue with the lorry, the delivery lorry. It turned up the same day. It did turn up the same day. The poor delivery gentleman was rather frazzled, in a bit of a rush, and apparently the clutch had gone on the delivery van, and they'd had to wait 5 hours. But bless the hearts, it still arrived the next day, and the day it was supposed to arrive, albeit late. However, I'd taken the day off work anyway, so it was no big deal to me, and it did keep updating. The tracking was correct. I mean, like I said, I thought it had frozen. It hadn't. The lorry had broken down, but they were ever so apologetic. I can't fault them, really. Things happen. That's life. Anyhow, so here it is. I'm going to attempt to edit this video. You've also got to excuse, I'm working on an iPhone. We are actually in the process of moving in just over 5 weeks. So I'm working with what I've got. So I'm going to try and switch to the front camera, and we will open this box together and see what we think. So here we go. In the most exciting piece of cinematography you've ever seen, I'm going to open a cardboard box, one-handed. The skills. So here we go. As you can see, I mean, things are packaged well these days, you all know it. So we have the plug poking through, so let's take the plug out. So here she is. You can just see the little slight chrome and crystal handle poking through. Now, I've got to say, one of the things I adore about this is the slightly vintage. Oh, let's get the base out. Oh, look. Maybe let's leave the base in for a minute, eh? Amateur hour, this, isn't it? Amateur hour. Yeah, one thing I love is the vintage sort of thing at the moment. My kitchen curtains, when they're up, obviously they're down to be washed and packed, have, well, they're 50s fabric. I made them myself, so they've been made appallingly, but they've got they've got a green in it that is this green. It's amazing. And it's this slightly matte, well, it is matte, slightly matte. It's matte. It's a beautiful matte green. It's not in any way lurid. It's not the brightest light in here, so it isn't quite showing up true on my screen. It's a little bit greener. I think this is showing up slightly in more blue tones. Anyway, beautiful. So as you can see, there's the Breville logo down at the bottom. There's our on-off switch, which again, I'm not sure if you can see, that has got a little chrome. When we go through into the kitchen, you'll be able to see that anyway. Chrome handle and the beautiful lid with the little crystal in the middle. Just adds a touch of class to my tea making. We can see in here, so there's the element is up the side here and not your twirly one, which makes a limescale removal handy, which is important for us because we move around a lot, and so we go to and from hard water areas. And there's our little mesh, our filter. Oh gosh, am I going to be able to put that back in, aren't I? There we go. There we are, look, like a pro. So there's our spout. Here is my handle, here is my spout. Yeah, beautiful. It's got the 360 base, which is important because you don't want to be faffing about when you've got a kettle, do you? You just want to put it on its base. So the base is hiding in here. I've got the instructions. I'm going to get that out, and then we're going to go through to the kitchen, and we're going to boil a kettle. Okay, so here we are in the kitchen. and I have skillfully removed the base from its box. Not skillfully, didn't take any skill. Don't tell me that. So here's the base. It's gorgeous with the chrome. There I am again. Hello. It's certainly not flimsy. It's lightweight though. You know, it's not doing any damage to my poor microwave. I will point out at this stage, this isn't where I keep my kettle, but as I said before, we're in the process of packing the stuff everywhere, and this just is probably the place where there's most space. And my beautiful, beautiful wood chips, vintage, darling, vintage. So one thing I really like is the cable. So there is a lot of cable should you need it, and if you don't, it tucks away really neatly, so you don't have excess ugly cable, or if you do, if your kitchen's laid out in a ridiculous way like mine. So here is a closer look at the kettle. I've, as per the instructions, on the first use you need to fill it to your max point, which would be around there. Fill it up, boil it, empty it, fill it up, boil it, empty it. Removes all the residue from the manufacturing process, yada yada yada. I've done that already. Didn't think you needed to literally watch me boil a kettle. So closer look at the features I showed you before. Here's the gorgeous crystal. I really, really like this. Kind of, how do I describe it? Maybe if you hear it, it's like a slightly soft material. Obviously it's plastic, I don't know. Anyway, it's nice, it's matte, it fits in with it, it goes really nice with the chrome. So it's a piece of art. So the lid comes off easily. Not so easily, you know, there is a satisfying clunk, as you can see, but I'm not left-handed, and I'm removing it easily with my left hand. There's the water inside, nice and clean because it's only been boiled twice. And what else? So we're going to push it onto its base, 360 base, which really does come in handy. As you can see, slots on. So you're going to switch it on, and when it's on, you can see the light. Just an extra confirmation, plus it looks good like that. Look, it's like something out of X. It's brilliant. As you will hear, it's not the quietest of kettles. Is that a negative? Not for me. Quiet tends to mean slow at boiling. I prefer, I was going to say something, I prefer a fast boil with a loud noise. And this is something that you can do a completely different way. This is a family YouTube channel, let you know. So, a little crystal on the end of the on-off switch also glows. I just think it's a really sweet touch. Thinking about downsides, I adore the matte finish. However, I feel like it could possibly get marked easily, and with any chrome finish, it smears. You see there's already a slight smear. I know people use baby wipes or baby oil. I'm not that kind of person, as long as it's clean. However, I can see them possibly being fairly precious about this. Anyway, let's go back to our little windows and have the window. Just the bubbles, it boils quickly. I like that. It's like, see, it's hoping, yeah, it's a bit down, so I'll show you the boil mechanism. You might have to go with it a little bit to make sure I don't burn myself, because that wouldn't make such a nice video. And then paramedics, so, come on now, Kettle, there's me saying it's a glass boil. But yeah, it's. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a kettle. It's a good looking kettle. I mean, she's got to work hard against the wood chip, but yeah, vintage microwave that I adore. Yeah, I really wouldn't recommend using the top of your microwave as a surface with which to keep your kettle. But like I said, this isn't where it usually lives. So here we go. Let's watch the rather exciting process of a kettle finishing its boil. Excuse me. Okay. Well, I should be some kind of director, shouldn't I? Spielberg, you better watch out, this is amazing. Jurassic World, the kettle boils. Exciting, so there we go, we can see it's really finished now. I do quite like the light shining through, it's almost like a rather over-enthusiastic lava lamp. This is one of the other reasons why you don't put it on top of the microwave. It's wibbling about a bit. This does not happen on a properly flat surface. So that is not a fault of the kettle, it is a fault of the end user. So here we go. The good thing about the 360 base is if it's facing the wrong way, you can swivel it before you lift. So again, please bear with me a little. So there we go. I'm going to have to be careful, and there we go. Look at that, look at that. I mean, it does pour rather beautifully, I've got to admit. So let's stop there. If you can guess the brand of tea, then you get extra bonus points. So there we go. I don't have any negative points, I really don't. I mean, that's the third time I've boiled it, first time I've used it. Of course, I'll come back and update if something goes horribly wrong, if it explodes. I don't think it's going to. I've had plenty of Breville appliances and I've never had an issue with any of them, so I'm pretty confident in the brand. Obviously, I'd like to thank AO for sending me the kettle to review. I completely understand I've done a rather appalling job of it, so do excuse that. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a kettle. A kettle is as a kettle does. It boils water, it boils it well, and for a kettle, it looks jolly good. Would I recommend it? I would recommend it. Yeah, I love it, and I think, if I remember rightly, it does have a matching toaster at least, and that is something I would look at getting, to be honest. To have them together, I think would go quite well. Well, obviously they'd go quite well. I mean, in a kitchen, it would look nice to have them matching. So that might be something I look at, I've got to be honest. And yeah, so I hope you've enjoyed this most thrilling of reviews. I'm going to go and have a go at editing this. So wish me luck.